Beyond the Gates for Monday, September 29, 2025, teases that Joey threatens Marcel, terrified that the truth about Doug's death is about to slip through his fingers. Fear clings to Joey like a second skin, a constant whisper gnawing at him whenever Marcel seems too calm, too confident, too close to walking away. Marcel had been an accomplice, a silent weapon Joey once thought he could control, but tonight that illusion crumbled. The announcement hit Joey like a brick in the chest. Marcel was retiring. Next week he would fly to the Caribbean, leaving all the chaos, all the blood, all the buried secrets behind. Joey's voice shakes when he says no, not now, not after everything. He can't be abandoned, not when Doug's ghost still lingers in every corner of Vanessa's house, in the eyes of Doug's children, in the whispers of neighbors who can't stop asking questions. Joey tries to reason, to plead, but Marcel stands firm. His mission is finished. He has done what Joey asked him to do. The wreath fallout, the lies, the endless cover-ups is not his problem anymore. Joey feels his stomach twist into knots. Marcel leans closer, his words slicing through Joey's panic with cruel precision. If Joey doesn't want his hot-tempered girlfriend Vanessa to discover the truth, then he had better stay far away from her. That warning is laced with venom. Marcel has seen enough affairs, enough betrayals, to recognize how fragile this setup really is. Vanessa loved her husband once, and if she can betray him, she can betray Joey too. Marcel is right, but Joey refuses to hear it. The argument escalates quickly. Neither of them wants to carry the burden of the chaos they created together. Joey's entire life has started to revolve around Vanessa, her touch, her lies, her grief, and the intoxicating way she makes him feel alive. He cannot let her discover that it was him who ordered Doug's death, because Vanessa had been clear from the very beginning. She had warned Joey. She didn't want Doug harmed. She had told him bluntly that her children would never forgive her for being with the man who killed their father. That threat lingers in Joey's mind like a curse, but his obsession with her is stronger than reason. Marcel's patience runs thin. He reminds Joey that staking his career and his entire life on a woman is foolish, especially Vanessa. Marcel's voice hardens as he spits the truth Joey doesn't want to face. If she could betray her husband, what makes Joey believe she won't betray him? Joey's hands tremble as he realizes Marcel is slipping away. He pulls out his gun, a desperate move born of fear. He points it at Marcel, demanding that he stay, demanding loyalty through the barrel of a weapon. He threatens Marcel's family, painting pictures of unsafe nights and fragile lives. Marcel doesn't flinch. He laughs bitterly, calling Joey a coward. Joey smirks in response, the kind of smirk that comes from denial and despair, and says they're the same. Both men are cut from the same rotten cloth, tied together by a crime that cannot be undone. The question lingers in the air. Will Marcel bend, or will he slip through Joey's grasp with an escape plan already hidden in his back pocket? The tension hums, leaving no space for comfort, only the sharp edge of betrayal waiting to fall. But Joey is not done weaving his net of manipulation. He turns to Bill, dragging him deeper into this storm. Joey knows Bill carries his own load of guilt from betraying Doug, from feeding Joey the information that made Doug's orchestrated accident possible. Bill hasn't spoken it aloud, but Joey can see the crack in his resolve, the way his eyes dart away when Doug's name is mentioned. That's where Joey digs his claws in. Now Doug's son is preparing a lawsuit, and Joey needs Bill to back him up in court. He presents it as a necessity, a survival move, but beneath the words lies a more poisonous current: blackmail, leverage, the unspoken reminder that Bill's betrayal of Doug makes him an accomplice. Bill hesitates. With the image of Doug's last days, and the cruel knowledge that he paved the way for Joey's deadly plan, he remembers every word he shared, every piece of information that slid from his lips when Joey asked for it, and he remembers how quickly Doug's tragic accident followed. Bill knows his hands aren't clean, and that stains his soul. But Bill is no stranger to resentment either. His ex-wife Danny remarried, and he can't stand to see her happy in another man's arms. The bitterness simmers inside him, eating away at what's left of his decency. Joey senses it, presses on it, and offers Bill the chance to turn that resentment into action. If Bill helps, Joey promises protection. If not, Joey hints at consequences too dark to ignore. Meanwhile, Vanessa plays her own dangerous game. She sits with Nicole, letting the grief spill from her eyes in rivers of tears. She speaks of Doug's tragic death with trembling lips, painting herself as the broken widow. Nicole listens, trying to comfort her, believing in the sincerity of Vanessa's pain. But cracks begin to show. Vanessa excuses herself with a lie, claiming she needs to go home to fetch something. Nicole, ever supportive, offers to help later by picking up Vanessa's son and bringing him to Doug's funeral. It sounds like a small kindness, a gesture of friendship, but fate twists it into something far darker. Because as Nicole waits, she stumbles upon a moment she cannot unsee: Vanessa with Joey. Not in passing, not a casual conversation, but an embrace too intimate, too revealing. The shock freezes Nicole's breath. Pieces click together in her mind, fragments of suspicion coalescing into a horrifying possibility. Joey, the man so closely orbiting Vanessa now, might be connected to Doug's death. The realization burns in Nicole's chest, but she says nothing. Not yet. She watches, her heart heavy with the weight of the truth she has begun to piece together. Vanessa, on the other hand, feels the walls closing in. She insists to Joey that she wants distance, that she cannot let her children see her in the arms of another man so soon after their father's death. She clings to the idea of appearances, of control, but Joey doesn't care about appearances. He is addicted to her, consumed by desire and obsession that blind him to caution. Every time she pushes him away, he pulls harder, needing her like a drug. That reckless need will soon betray them both. The cracks are spreading. Nicole has already seen too much. Bill is torn apart by guilt and jealousy. Marcel is one step away from vanishing with dangerous knowledge in his pocket. And Joey stands in the center of it all, clutching lies, threats, and desires that may very well destroy him. The night is heavy with tension. Joey lies awake, staring at the ceiling, imagining all the ways this fragile web can break. Marcel could vanish tomorrow, leaving him exposed. Bill could turn on him, weighed down by guilt. Vanessa could betray him in a heartbeat if she ever discovers the truth. Nicole could start asking questions, and questions are dangerous. He closes his eyes, but Doug's face is there, pale and accusing, whispering from the grave. Joey tells himself he did it all for love, for Vanessa, but in the silence of the night, even that lie begins to sound hollow. The days that follow spiral quickly. Joey visits Bill again, pressing him harder, dangling both promises and threats in front of him. Bill's mind is a battlefield, torn between protecting himself and doing what little he can to atone. Joey watches him carefully, like a predator circling prey. Vanessa grows more distant, her grief taking sharper turns. She feels watched, judged by neighbors, by family, by her own children. She tries to keep Joey at bay, but he keeps showing up, keeps pushing, keeps reminding her of the fire that sparked between them long before Doug's death. Vanessa despises her weakness, despises how she cannot entirely resist him, and that self-loathing only drives her further into secrecy. Nicole becomes more suspicious with each passing day. She replays the image of Joey and Vanessa in her head, weighing what she saw against Vanessa's words. Her instincts tell her the affair isn't new, that the tragedy of Doug's death might not be as random as it seems. She begins to dig, quietly, carefully, but every clue she uncovers brings her closer to a dangerous truth. And through it all, Marcel keeps his silence, but Joey can feel the clock ticking down. Marcel's retirement looms. The Caribbean, freedom, escape, it's all within Marcel's grasp, and Joey can do nothing but wait and wonder if Marcel will leave him to face the storm alone. The unspoken war between them simmers, ready to explode. Marcel holds Joey's secrets like a blade to his throat, and Joey knows it. But he also knows Marcel is a man who plans his exits carefully. The question that keeps Joey awake at night is whether Marcel's exit plan includes selling him out. The tension coils tighter, the lies grow heavier, and the web of betrayal stretches to its breaking point. Every move Joey makes to keep control only pushes him closer to losing it all. And as the days bleed into nights, and Doug's funeral draws nearer, the shadows around them grow darker, whispering of the reckoning that waits just beyond the gates. Under the weight of mounting lies, The fragile bonds between Joey, Marcel, Bill, Vanessa, and Nicole begin to splinter into sharp edges. Each of them carries a secret too heavy to bear, and as the days pass, those secrets fester, twisting their choices into traps from which there may be no return. Joey grows more restless. His obsession with Vanessa blinds him, pulling him into reckless patterns that Marcel has already warned will end in betrayal. Yet Joey cannot stop himself. He finds ways to be near her, convincing himself that their connection justifies the risks. He whispers promises of safety and devotion, believing that his hold over her can outlast the truth of Doug's death. But Vanessa recoils, increasingly aware of how dangerous this has become. Her words sharpen, her excuses grow colder, yet her heart remains entangled. She wants to believe she can manage both her grief and her desire, but the cracks are spreading. Nicole, meanwhile, keeps her suspicions close. She does not confront Vanessa directly, but she begins piecing together fragments of truth through observation. The hug she witnessed between Joey and Vanessa gnaws at her conscience. She notices phone calls at odd hours, subtle shifts in Vanessa's tone, and the way Joey seems to appear in places he has no reason to be. Nicole isn't ready to accuse her friend outright, but her silence masks a growing determination. If Doug's death was no accident, then Joey may not be the only one involved, and Nicole's instincts push her toward discovering the full scope of the deception. Marcel watches from the sidelines, his bags nearly packed, his mind already halfway across the ocean. Yet even as he prepares to disappear, Joey's threats linger. Marcel is not a man easily intimidated, but he knows Joey's desperation makes him unpredictable. Marcel begins to devise contingencies, carefully crafting layers of protection should Joey attempt to follow through on his threats. He makes quiet arrangements, contacts old allies, and positions himself so that if Joey comes after him, the blowback will be devastating. What Joey sees as cowardice is, in truth, calculation. Bill remains trapped in a spiral of guilt and envy. The knowledge that he helped orchestrate Doug's downfall eats at him, yet jealousy over Danny drives him to cling to Joey's schemes. Joey senses this weakness and manipulates it with precision, reminding Bill that betrayal is already a stain on his soul. There is no way back to innocence, Joey insists, only a path forward where silence and loyalty might at least buy them both survival. Bill wavers, torn between confessing to free himself of the burden and doubling down on his alliance with Joey. Every choice feels poisoned. As Doug's funeral approaches, the atmosphere grows suffocating. Vanessa rehearses her grief like a performance, ensuring her children and the community see her as the shattered widow. Yet beneath the surface, she trembles at the thought of exposure. Every glance from Nicole feels accusatory. Every whisper among neighbors sounds like suspicion. Joey's presence only makes it worse, for even in moments of mourning, she feels his gaze, hungry and demanding. She warns him once again to stay away, but the more she pushes, the more dangerous his fixation becomes. The legal pressure intensifies as Doug's son moves forward with the lawsuit. Joey needs Bill more than ever, not just as a witness but as a shield. Bill, however, begins to see through Joey's promises. The cost of loyalty is rising, and with Danny's happiness haunting him, he wonders whether destroying Joey might be the only way to reclaim a shred of dignity. His hesitation does not escape Marcel, who quietly studies Bill, assessing whether this man might become another loose thread worth cutting. The night before the funeral, Marcel and Joey clash again. Joey insists Marcel stay and handle the mess, but Marcel's mind is made up. He mocks Joey's desperation, warning him that love built on betrayal is nothing but a time bomb. Joey, enraged, points his gun again, but this time Marcel is ready. He calls Joey's bluff, daring him to pull the trigger. The tension is unbearable, both men staring down the abyss between them. At last, Joey lowers the weapon, but the damage is done. Marcel knows Joey is unraveling, and Joey knows Marcel holds all the cards. At the funeral, every thread begins to converge. Vanessa stands before the coffin, tears streaming down her face, while her children cling to her side. Joey lurks at the edges, his eyes locked on her, his desire fighting against the risk of exposure. Nicole watches him, her suspicions hardening into certainty. She sees the way Vanessa avoids his gaze, the way Joey's presence unsettles her, and it fuels her determination to uncover the truth. Bill arrives late, his face pale, his nerves frayed. He feels the weight of every glance, as if Doug's son can see the betrayal etched into his soul. Joey corners him afterward, pressing him to commit fully to their plan for the lawsuit. Bill nods, but inside, his resolve weakens. The thought of confessing gnaws at him, and he knows that sooner or later, he will have to choose between self-preservation and self-destruction. Vanessa returns home that night exhausted, yet Joey is already waiting for her. He confronts her about her distance, demanding more of her time, more of her love. Vanessa breaks, confessing that she cannot reconcile her guilt with their affair. She fears her children will despise her if they ever discover the truth. Joey tries to reassure her, promising protection and devotion, but Vanessa sees only obsession in his eyes. She tells him firmly that they must end this, that their secret cannot survive much longer. Her rejection cuts Joey deeply, but instead of retreating, he clings harder. He convinces himself that Vanessa only needs time, that she will return once the grief subsides. But Joey's inability to let go sets him on a collision course with everyone around him. Marcel prepares to vanish. Nicole prepares to expose the affair. Bill prepares to confess. And Vanessa prepares to protect her children at any cost, even if it means betraying Joey the same way she once betrayed Doug. The spiral tightens, each character locked in a dangerous stance of secrets and lies. Marcel may yet deliver a final betrayal before leaving. Bill may tip the balance with a confession that shatters Joey's defense. Nicole may confront Vanessa, unraveling the truth piece by piece. And Joey, consumed by love and fear, may find himself cornered, forced into choices that could destroy them all. Every step forward brings them closer to collapse. The weight of Doug's death hangs heavy over their lives, a ghost that refuses to be buried. The gates they once crossed together are closing, and what lies beyond is no longer freedom, but reckoning. The unraveling of every hidden truth reaches its peak when the lawsuit begins to loom large over all of them. Joey's paranoia spikes with each passing day. He sees enemies everywhere, in the steely gaze of Doug's son, in Nicole's quiet but pointed questions, in Bill's trembling hands, and most of all in Marcel's cold silence. He has lost the ability to tell ally from enemy, because every ally he thought he had now seems ready to cut him loose. Marcel, though already half out the door, leaves a warning in his absence. A final conversation with Joey reveals his true intent: not loyalty, not betrayal, but survival. He tells Joey flatly that he will not go down for another man's obsession. He hints that if Joey pushes too hard, certain details about Doug's accident may find their way into the hands of the very people Joey fears most. Marcel walks away, his figure fading into the night, and this time Joey cannot stop him. The threat lingers long after, the possibility that Marcel has already ensured his safety by planting evidence or lining up witnesses. Bill's turmoil finally comes to a head. In a drunken haze one night, he nearly calls Danny, confessing half-truths about his role in Doug's death. He stops himself, but the weight of the secret gnaws so deeply that Joey notices the cracks. Joey corners him, pushing harder, demanding loyalty at all costs. But instead of bending, Bill snaps. He lashes out, accusing Joey of being a manipulator, a destroyer of lives, the true architect of everything that has gone wrong. Joey silences him with threats, but Bill's defiance plants the seed of betrayal. Bill begins considering whether telling Doug's son everything might free him once and for all. Vanessa spirals between grief and guilt. Her children's eyes pierce her, innocent yet watchful, and she feels the walls of her double life closing in. When Joey presses her again, swearing that their love can outlast the storm, she finally admits the truth: she does not see a future with him. Their affair has become a prison, and she cannot bear to risk her family for it. Her rejection cuts deeper than anything Joey has endured. To him, Vanessa is not just a lover, she is the justification for every sin he has committed. Losing her means admitting that Doug's death was not a sacrifice for love, but a hollow act of selfishness. Nicole sharpens her resolve. What she has seen, what she suspects, is enough to convince her that Doug's death was no accident. She begins gathering pieces of proof: phone records, sightings, whispers from neighbors. She watches Joey carefully, noticing how his presence unsettles Vanessa, and she wonders how deep the rot goes. When she confronts Vanessa, the widow breaks, not with a confession, but with tears that say enough. Nicole does not need every detail. The truth is already written in the cracks of Vanessa's grief. The confrontation comes one evening when all paths collide. Joey, desperate and unraveling, confronts Vanessa at her home. He begs, threatens, and pleads in equal measure, unable to accept that she is slipping from his grasp. His voice trembles with obsession, declaring that they are bound together forever, that Doug's death means nothing if she leaves him. Vanessa stands firm, her children upstairs, her heart pounding with both fear and fury. She tells Joey he has ruined everything, that love born in betrayal cannot survive. Nicole arrives unannounced, catching Joey's presence in the house. The sight confirms every suspicion she has carried, and she does not hesitate to call him out. Words fly, accusations sharpen into daggers, and Joey finds himself cornered by the two women he believed he could control. His rage erupts. He pulls the gun again, waving it wildly as if force could mend what love could not. The noise draws Bill, who had been torn between silence and confession. Hearing the chaos, he rushes in, only to find Joey armed and unhinged. Bill pleads with him to stop, reminding him that everything has already gone too far. Joey snarls that Bill owes him, that without him Bill would have nothing but his regrets. The standoff hangs by a thread, every breath heavy with the possibility of violence. And then, in the silence between words, Marcel's shadow re-emerges. Whether by fate or calculation, he steps into the scene like a ghost returning to claim unfinished business. He has not left yet, and he has been watching, waiting for Joey to implode. He tells Joey to put the gun down, his voice calm, almost mocking. Joey hesitates, torn between fear of Marcel and his desperate need to cling to Vanessa. The room vibrates with tension. The ending fractures in a rush of decisions. Vanessa, summoning every ounce of courage, shields her children and tells Joey that if he ever cared for her, he will walk away. Nicole calls for the police. Bill seizes the moment, confessing aloud what Joey forced him into, declaring Doug's death was no accident. The words hit the room like thunder, stripping away the last shreds of denial. Joey's grip on the gun weakens, his body trembling under the weight of betrayal from all sides. Marcel steps closer, his voice low and final, telling Joey this is the end. And for the first time, Joey sees the truth not in Marcel's words, but in the reflection of his own choices. He has lost everything: Vanessa's love, Bill's loyalty, Marcel's silence, Nicole's trust. Doug's ghost is no longer just in his mind, it lives in every eye staring back at him. When the sirens wail in the distance, Joey drops the gun. The sound echoes, sharp and final. He mutters something, whether an apology or a curse, no one can tell, and then slumps against the wall, defeated. The aftermath unfolds quickly. Police swarm the house. Marcel slips away into the night, his future secure but haunted by the knowledge of what he has seen. Bill is taken in for questioning, his confession the first thread in unraveling the entire story. Nicole stands by Vanessa, offering strength as the widow prepares to face not just the grief of losing her husband, but the shame of having loved his killer. And Joey, once the architect of schemes and lies, now faces the reckoning he always feared. The gates he tried to force open have closed behind him, and beyond them lies not freedom, but judgment. The ending leaves no one untouched. Doug's death, once staged as an accident, now reverberates like a curse through every life connected to it. Love has turned to obsession, loyalty to betrayal, and secrets to weapons. In the end, the truth claims them all, piece by piece, until nothing remains but the ruin left behind.